This is Skip Heitzig, and I believe it's vital that we understand why Israel must survive. The Bible is very clear about this, and here's some highlights from a message that I recently gave on this topic.
Let me begin with a quote that took place in the 1700s when Frederick the Great was the king of Prussia, and he was having a discussion with his court chaplain. The king said, "Can you provide for me proof of the inspiration of the Bible?" The chaplain said back to the king, "Your Majesty, I can answer your request in a word. The Jew. The Jew, Your Majesty, the Jew," he said. If you study the history of Israel and you still don't believe in miracles, you are not a realist. Because they keep coming back and coming back to the land that God promised to them. What other nation has survived as a distinct race after 400 years of slavery, 2 total destructions, several deportations, 2,000 years of dispersion, plus a Holocaust? This is a message I'm calling Why Israel Must Survive. Has God cast away his people? Certainly not. And if you believe in the Bible, then the ownership of the land is settled and unambiguous. It's his land. It's his land. First of all, Psalm 24, verse 1, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and all who live in it." So by right of creation, God owns the world, but by right of selection, God owns the land of Israel. It's his land. This goes all the way back to Leviticus 25, verse 2 and 23, which says, "When you come into the land which I give you, the land shall not be sold permanently, for the land is mine, for you are strangers and sojourners with me." So politicians can talk all they want about what Israel should and shouldn't do, what policies they should or shouldn't adopt, who has the right to occupy the land, should the land be divided up or not. But at the end of the day, it's God's land. And because God is the owner and the landlord, he can give it to anybody he wants to. Well, he happened to give it to Abraham, and then to Isaac, and then to Jacob and their descendants. Go down to verse 28 of Ezekiel 36. "Then you shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers," fathers being Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. "You shall be my people, I will be your God." That's the Abrahamic covenant once again. Initialized in Genesis 12, formalized in Genesis 15, amplified in Genesis 17. By the way, every single Old Testament prophet, except Malachi, repeats the land promise to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Every one of them. So that's the plot. The land belongs to God.